Brokers Alliance and the National Insurance Clearinghouse present the Business Insurance Zone, a Bravo video event. Broadcasting in HD 1080p on Vimeo, YouTube, the Insurance Newsnet, Agent Navigator, BrokersAlliance.com, and on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and the Insurance Forum. And now your host, the whiz of the biz, Steve Savant. Well, welcome everyone to the Business Insurance Zone, the talk show that spotlights insurance in your practice, keeps you up to speed on insurance news and products, features insurance strategies from top advisors. Get in the zone, the Business Insurance Zone.
Our email address is thebiz@brokersalliance.com, and you can call us at 290-7226, extension 147, for any of your DI, LTC, annuity, life insurance, or group annuity quotes. And remember, any strategies you hear on this show, you need to go back and check it out, because I'm not a legal advisor or a tax advisor, so you need to talk with your CPA or attorney. And if you're with a broker-dealer, always check with your compliance officer before going forward with anything you hear today. Although, we're in the safety zone today, because with us today, again, and maybe you have caught her previous show when she was on, is Dr. Barb Provost from Chicago, Illinois, from Provost Consulting. Welcome to the show, Barbara.
Thank you for
Barbara.
having me.
Oh, I'm so official. I kind of like that, Dr. Barb. Well, if you've missed our previous show where we introduced the whole concept of women as the majority population sales, which we have not done a job on at all.
Right.
You want to catch it because I talked about some statistics, some data. I had what I think are some huge reasons to modify your sales behavior, your language, the process of how you think and how you're going to sell. You need to incorporate the strategies and tactics. Dr. Barb's forte is adult learning, and we're trying to learn as an adult how to speak to women who are now going to be controlling over the next 10 years the greatest transfer of wealth from the World War II and Korean generation to us, the baby boomers.
Right.
Well, Dr. Barb, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I'm in the zone. I'm trying to get in the estrogen zone. I'm trying to up my game here. All things feminine. We're moving. Oh my gosh, I feel kinder, gentler already.
It's working.
I'm changing, and I don't know if I like it. Well, we're talking about the powerful impact on women in our society. Now, look, we've had the political gains, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could have
Sure.
a female, it's possible to have a female president maybe in 12, maybe for sure in 16. I mean, that's all on the table.
Yes.
We have people, we were just with American General, who has a president, Mary Jane. She is so unbelievable. She is the president of American General. How many female presidents of insurance carriers do we have, right? And she is a delightful person. And she was the CFO. They elevated her because they saw in her a huge dimension that they could tap into. So we're seeing this, but what I'm really curious about, and we talked about this on our other show, was we know we have a huge emerging market with women that are going to be controlling the greatest transfer over the next 10 years. Everybody's there on that. Nobody disputes it. But we cannot carry into those interviews, especially the first contact interview. To me, that seems to be hugely important.
Right.
The same mindset and how we sell and offer our products, our services, we want to be the solution. We want to be the product, the problem solver. But I heard that maybe sometimes that at the first meeting isn't the way to go.
Right.
Talk a little bit about, we're going to introduce ourselves into this whole new playground. For us, it's like, I have to say, it's like a new planet for me.
Yeah.
So talk about, how do we talk about this? Because we know that these women are going to have a powerful impact on our society. They're going to rule, by the way, the entrepreneurial areas of what they love. Boy, the charity who gets this is going to get money and funding.
Right.
So talk a little bit about, though, for an advisor point of view, we want to pick up on all that we need to know. And it sounds like we're going to have to kind of redraw our map.
Yeah. Well, there are several different things women are looking for in a sales process. So first of all, women want to make sure that there's a connection. So if you're going to sell life insurance and you're coming to my home or I'm going to your business, first and foremost, I want to like you. I want to make sure we have a connection and that you're somebody that I think I'm going to trust. So how do you do that in a conversation?
Now, how do I engender trust on the first interview?
Yeah, well, a lot of it is just about not getting right to the sales process, but really maybe making some connections. What do you like to be called? Is it Barb, Dr. Barb, Miss Provo? How can I call you? And then using her name.
I don't think I did that. I don't think I did that.
No, you
So let's role play live on the Business Insurance Zone. So how would you like me to address you?
Well, if you were selling me insurance, Barbara would be fine.
Barbara, intimate right away, you're okay with that?
I am. Some women are not. Some
Okay.
women want a little
So
bit
she may
more
say,
formality.
"Mrs. Provost."
Yes,
Okay, all right.
And so I think that's important. You know, how may I call, what may I call you? A lot of times people will even ask me, may I call you Barb or is it Barbara? So just making sure that's clear. And then when you're talking to her, really listening. So oftentimes people will just be quiet and let the woman talk and not listen. So a lot of it is about really listening to what her concerns are.
All right. The male gender is not known for its listening skill sets.
Right.
Okay. So that on the table, how do I change my ADD habits?
Well,
Because that's a hard one.
it is a hard one. And like anything else, it takes practice. And listening, like my colleagues would say, no one took listening 101 in college or in high school.
No.
Listening is really, really important, an important skill to learn. And a lot of times what it means is asking really good open-ended questions like, what are your concerns today? And then maybe writing down a few of the things that she has said, what her concerns are, and addressing those instead of going right to your own sales process.
I'm thinking of the episode of The Simpsons where Homer is trying to listen to Marge even though he doesn't want to, and he's wearing the glasses that have the eyes open, but he's actually sleeping. And I think that's where advisors are.
Well, I think that happens a lot in conversations between men and women. And so it is very important that men be patient and that they listen. And I can't say that enough.
Well, how do I get listening and patient skills? Let's say I'm in my 50s like I am, and I just have not trained myself to go down that road.
Well, a lot of it is around training. There are training workshops that you can take that help you, sharpen those listening skills and really being attentive and really being fully present and in the moment when you're selling something as critical as life insurance. Life insurance, a woman is thinking about the impact to her in her retirement. It's thinking about, God forbid, what if something happened to her? How would her children be taken care of? God forbid something happened to her husband. How would she be taken care of and the children? Would there be enough money? How much money would there need to be? How do you know how much money there needs to be? There's a lot going on, a lot of questions she's thinking in her mind, and she wants to make sure she's with a trusted professional that can help her think through those answers.
I'm just from the sheer fact that women are outliving their male counterparts of the same age by 8 to 9 years of the same age, and that most marriages are between 3 and 6 years younger than the male, right? So she's going to be alone for 10 to maybe 15 years spread, and longer. One of the things that we noticed in the early 90s when we did estate planning was that we did the estate plan, we did everything right, but we never expected the female part of that plan to live past the actuarial tables, which women did.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the stats that is a staggering one is in the 20th century, I think there were less than 500 death claims on second-to-die contracts. The guys died according to the tables, right on time. We're the most predictable of genders, But mother lived way past the table, and we don't pay the claim until the second death on a second-to-die contract.
Yeah.
So when I see a contract like that, I'm saying, wow, we didn't pay hardly any claims. When you think, the carriers, only 500 claims, that's a lot. That's very small for such a big population.
Right.
Well, we didn't expect mother to live, so we didn't anticipate liquidity needs. We didn't anticipate retirement needs. We didn't anticipate long-term care needs. We just thought everybody was just going to die according to the tables. My gosh, it's a science, right?
Yeah, well, and women want to be part of that process. They want to be engaged in the process so that they understand how does this impact me. So often they're not engaged in that process. They're not asked to be engaged. They're overlooked. So being engaged in the process is very, very important as well.
What do I need to think about? What is impacting then? What is it? She's thinking, how will what he's saying impact me? How can I be preemptive in my thinking and say, here are some of the things I know she'll be considering that I would not normally consider?
Well, I would say first and foremost, assume nothing. You can't assume anything that you might think that she would need.
Well, show over. You know, I mean,
You really have to ask the good questions. You have to ask, what are your concerns? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about for your future? What are you thinking about for your children? Where do you want to be when you retire? What are the good questions that you need to know in order to sell her the right policy? You need to make sure that you're asking the questions to her, listening, and then writing down what it is she's saying.
do you think it's important for the female client to not only view her male advisor as engaged and listening, but he should be taking copious notes on what she's saying?
I think that would show that he is listening. And if you reference back to those notes, because every sale is going to be different and unique based on who you're speaking with, so you need to make sure you reference what are her concerns versus somebody else's concerns, because they're not the same. You can't sell everybody with the same brush.
Well, okay, now let's just talk about that, because that is the bugaboo, really, when we're talking about this is the issue.
Yeah.
Because generally, and in my practice, I think I can speak for, I think I'm typical. I think I approach things, there's only so many moves on the checkerboard.
Yeah.
Then those are the solutions, those are the strategies, those solutions, right? Here are there's only so many, 80% of the time, these 4 solutions, they're going to fit within whatever the male is telling me. But you're saying we need to set that whole thing aside.
Right.
I mean, that's what, really, when we're talking about this, Dr. Barb, we have to change our complete mindset.
Right.
We're going to have to go over to the other side, the estrogen zone. Unbelievable. Well, listen, when we come back, we're going to continue with Dr. Barb, more on powerful impact of women in the marketplace. If you want to be a player with the biggest transfer of wealth, you're going to have to learn how to talk like she's talking about. Oh my gosh, we're going to be kinder, gentle before it's all through. We might even close a case or two. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm Steve Savant. You're listening to our show, The Business Insurance Zone. When we come back, we'll talk more with Dr. Barb and some of the 4 or 5 things that she wants to talk about. They're going to be so engaging. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back after the break.
Steve Savant here. For years I've heard that less than 2% of all term life insurance ends in a claim. That's not many, and clients had to die to receive the benefits. That's the old term insurance. Now start selling term insurance. The term insurance that covers your client through a chronic illness, a catastrophic event, or a terminal diagnosis, and pays their monthly premium during extended periods of unemployment. What term life insurance can do all that? Western Reserve Alliance Advantage Term with living benefits. No other term insurance product bundles so many solutions to life's unexpected problems. And all in one policy. So for more information, call Brokers Alliance 1-800-290-7226. Stop selling the old term. Start selling the new.